This is The Ripple, Every Choice Echoes, written by Diana Teresh and narrated by Revoicer. The Ripple, Every Choice Echoes is a sweeping historical novel about survival, hope, and the power of second chances, set in the gritty streets of Victorian England. All rights reserved. We hope you enjoy this journey of courage, resilience, and the echo of every choice. The Ripple, Every Choice Echoes by Diana Teresh. Prologue: The coldest winter, 1928. The attic was colder than the street below, and Tessa could no longer move from her bed, nor could she recall the last time she had truly wanted to. Her world had shrunk to the grimy sheets beneath her, and the splintering window above, its glass crusted with frost that never thawed. The street outside bustled faintly, but she could only hear it, never see it, never join it, not anymore. She lay, thin and still, a bundle of old skirts and rags bunched around her wasted frame, a faded rag doll pressed close against her chest. She could not even shiver. The cold seemed almost a blessing, a numbness that softened the pain. Most days, Tessa was alone. If she died tonight, it might take days for anyone to notice. Once, Mrs. Catchpole from next door would hobble up the stairs, wheezing, to leave a tin cup of broth or a bit of crust, muttering about Christian duty and poor, mad Tessa. Sometimes, a child from the street, a stranger, or perhaps Will's own daughter, she wasn't sure, her sight was poor, slipped in quickly with a bruised apple or a bit of cheese, eyes darting, then gone. The parish woman from the church, tired and thin-lipped, left blankets on rare Sundays, always with a whisper about the charity cases and God's mercy. But lately, even those visits were fewer. Most had forgotten she was still alive. She wondered, herself, why she was. Once, Tessa's hands had been clever and strong. She made dolls from scraps, sewed buttons for pennies, even managed to keep herself fed, after a fashion. But now her hands shook, the old scars pale and her fingers stiff. The doll she held was patched and repatched, its body filled with the last of her mother's old skirt, its face faded from years of clutching. Even the doll was tired. She had stopped counting days and nights. Sometimes she awoke to find the candle burned out, and the food left at her bedside gone, though she could not remember eating. Sometimes she wondered if she was already dead, left behind in a body that simply refused to let go. In the beginning, she fought. She tried to sit, to drag herself to the window for air, to call for help. But the cold, the filth, and the shame dragged her down. She had known suffering her whole life. Bob's fists, Agatha's cries, Mila's wails in the dark. But never this final, endless ache. Alone with her thoughts, the days bled into one another. Sometimes she saw Agatha at the foot of the bed, humming softly, folding laundry that no longer existed. Sometimes she saw Mila as a baby, or a girl she never met, standing in the corner with haunted eyes. And sometimes she saw nothing at all, just the cold and the dark and the memory of pain. She no longer feared death. She waited for it, begged for it in the secret places of her heart. She'd whispered to the ceiling beams, "Please just take me," over and over until her voice cracked. Even pain had lost its power. Only the longing for an end remained. It was not despair anymore, only exhaustion. A wish for peace, for silence, for something like rest. The city outside woke and slept, lived and died, and did not care about the attic and its solitary, shrunken tenant. Once, long ago, Tessa might have fought harder. She might have clawed her way out, screamed until someone listened. But not now. Now there was no one left to listen. Every ache was a memory. Bob's boots, the sting of his belt, Agatha's trembling hands bandaging her wounds. The old wounds were ghosts. The new ones, sharp reminders that she was still, for now, alive. She hated her body for enduring. She hated the world for forgetting. She hated herself, sometimes, for failing to save anyone, her mother, her sister, herself. Sometimes, at night, she dreamed of Mila. She saw her as a child, smiling, or as a woman, lost and unreachable, her voice muffled by distance and time. I'm so.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?